Your daily dose of sports talk is here. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. From the entertainment capital of the world, Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Yes, it does, and great to have you with us on this Tuesday edition of the show. A lot to get to over the next 60 minutes on over 270 affiliates across the United States and Canada. Hello to our friends north of the border. Got a good one up there tonight. Toronto and Indiana. Caitlin Clark making her first trip onto Canadian soil. No WNBA on today's show. See what Caitlin does, and we'll maybe chat about that tomorrow. We will be joined by our friend Sam Yarnell later on in the show. Get his thoughts on the AP Top 25. The preseason poll for college has been released, college football. We'll get into that a little bit, take a look at what the poll tells us and doesn't tell us. We will also chat it up on a couple of baseball items with him a little later on in the show. Matt Verderame will be here from Sports Illustrated, their insider, friend of the program. Get his thoughts on preseason training camps, some of the big stories, which we'll also be talking about here in the big story in just a couple of minutes. Odds and ends with Live Golf making news again, and probably not for the reasons they had hoped, and the passing of a sports media icon. But we start things out as we always do on this Tuesday edition of the show. It's time for the big story. And the big story is presented by the Daily Wrap, our Sports Wrap Substack. Every day you can get the top headlines, what we're talking about on the show. The newsletter is fantastic. Go and subscribe. It is available over on Substack. Real easy. All you got to do is scan the QR code right there below me. That's all you got to do. Scan it. It'll take you there. It's free to subscribe, and get in while it's free, because it won't be free forever. The Sports Wrap Substack daily newsletter waiting there for you. All right, the big story begins in the NFL with Roger Goodell. And I got to ask this of Matt Verderame when we get him on, and I'm curious to get your thoughts as well. You can see my name here on the screen at the back page if you want to hit us up on X, or curious to get your thoughts, you can send them to us at sportswrap.tv. Over at the bottom of the webpage, there's a spot to send us some feedback. Is there anything that the NFL can do at this point that would turn away fans? Is there anything that the NFL can do where you as a fan would just be like, you know what, I'm out. I'm done on the NFL? Because I get the sense that this league can do whatever it wants, operates with impunity. It can do anything it wants, and they know the fans are going to be there because we are a football addicted culture. There's no getting around it. Roger Goodell again today floating the idea, saying that there will definitely be NFL teams based outside of the United States. Is that the bridge too far for this league? Is that the point where you just say, all right, it's kind of silly we got a team in London. They've got their own brand of football there, let them have it. I think the novelty of going to Mexico City, even Australia, as crazy as it is, going to Europe and playing games in Madrid and playing games in London and all over the UK, I think that stuff is great. I don't have a problem with that, even though it means I have to get up at some ridiculous hour to watch the games in Europe during the season. I've complained about that enough. But placing teams there permanently, I don't know if players are going to want to play there. I think it brings up a ton of logistical problems and nightmares for the league. And I think ultimately it might be the bridge too far. It might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But then again, guys coming out of football as walking vegetables, getting ALS and Parkinson's years later and dementia and everything that results from head trauma, that doesn't seem to matter to you as an NFL fan. Doesn't matter to me. All it doesn't happen while they're on my fantasy team. Bad officiating? Doesn't matter. What's a little bad officiating? As long as it doesn't impact my team, my fantasy team, the team I'm betting on, doesn't matter to you. We still made the playoffs at the end of the year. If that doesn't matter, what difference is it going to make if they decide to put a team in Berlin? Oh yeah, they did that already, didn't they? The World League, NFL Europe. How'd that work out? I think it's a bad idea, but Roger Goodell seems to know better. And he is the guy calling the shots along with the owners. Big story number one. Big story number two. Terry and Arnold, the Seahawks say they're still planning to sign him, but they're working out the timing. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Mike Garofalo, however he wants to pronounce it. This is one that is puzzling to me. I get the need for the Seahawks to try and keep pace with what the Rams are doing, despite the fact that the Seahawks, by the way, are the defending Super Bowl champions, which we'll talk about coming up in a couple of minutes with our friend Matt Verderame. But they are about to sign a guy facing 8 felony charges. Not 1, do my LeBron, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8 felony charges for Terry and Arnold. 1 would be bad enough. 8 stemming from a kidnapping and robbery that took place in Tampa back in February. Turned himself in. And he's not going to be able to play while this whole thing is looked into by the league. But just the fact that the Seahawks are joining this list of teams around the NFL that have no shame in their game whatsoever. We don't care that he's got 8 felony charges hanging over his head. And not just 8, he is accused of being the mastermind behind the kidnapping and beating of 3 men who prosecutors believe he wrongly suspected of stealing $100,000 in cash from them, along with luxury watches and bags. So the story goes. Again, it plays into what I was talking about with Roger Goodell. If you're a Seahawks fan, doesn't that turn you off a little? Or is it, innocent until proven guilty if he's on our roster? It's a big story that seems to have no end for the NFL. Teams with no shame in who they sign, and a league that has no shame when it comes to expanding its reach and grabbing more money. And that's the big story. Matt Verderame of SI joins us next. This Tuesday edition of Sports Wrap continues, and it does with some talk on the NFL. After I've had my say in the big story, for the first time this season, we welcome in Matt Verderame. Does a great job over at SI. Matt Verderame Show on Patreon. Anywhere else I need to promote you?
Nah. I mean, there are other places, but that's fine. That's more than enough.
We could spend half the segment doing that. So let's talk about the most recent stuff and this story of Roger Goodell coming out and talking about the NFL eventually having teams outside the United States. Is there anything, I was thinking about this morning sitting in bed, is there anything the NFL could do that just goes too far, that it pushes fans away? Because it feels like, to me, it feels like there's nothing this league can do. There's nothing that could happen that will ultimately push fans away to the degree that it would cause them to change course, whether it's too many games, right. What is it?
It's a good question. I don't know that it would push fans away, but I do think that they are getting dangerously thin with their Sunday slate of games. I remember last year having many conversations with people who cover the league, not in the league, but cover it, with the idea that these Sunday slates stink. Like, you're sitting here, and it used to be, not sound like the old man screaming at a cloud, but it used to be, okay, look, you're going to have every game on Sunday except for Monday Night Football, and you're going to have Sunday Night Football, so let's even exclude that. So you have 14 games that are on Sunday afternoon. I mean, unless you had a really, really strange thing happen, you're going to have 3, 4 games that are really good, that people want to watch, you're excited about. Like when I was a kid, the Cowboys and Niners playing each other in the 90s, the game was on Sunday afternoon, always. That was the best game. Now, the best games are Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. You know, they'll throw a good international game at you at 8:30 in the morning if you're out in the, if you're out in the Midwest. I mean, the first week of the season, there's Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Like, I mean, at some point, it does just get to be where you're like, well, why am I paying for Sunday ticket? For what? To watch the Falcons play the Cardinals? Like there just does get to a juncture where I think fans are going to be turned off by that. And that being said, I don't know that would make fans stop watching. I think it'll piss fans off. I think it might hurt Sunday ticket sales. But yeah, man, look, football has gotten to a point that if they played all their games at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, I think they would still draw 20 million people a game watching it.
It's amazing. Sort of, it says a lot about our addiction to football, for better or for worse. The great arms race going out there in the NFC West. You have the Rams doing what they did in the offseason, saying, screw all the draft picks. We're about winning now. We're about winning a Super Bowl. And it feels like in the last couple of weeks, the Seahawks have woken up and said, oh, we're going to get lapped here if we don't go and make some upgrades ourselves. So now they've sort of countered with a couple of moves of their own. When we get to the start of the season and you have a Rams team that's, resting guys and basically going to flip the switch come week 1, versus this Seahawks team that won a Super Bowl just a year ago, less than a year ago, obviously. When you stack these two rosters side by side, just purely rosters, and I get games aren't played on paper, what does Matt Verderame see?
I think the Rams are a significantly better team. I think the Rams are the best team in football. I don't think they're impossible to beat. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. But, look, the Rams are better at almost every position on the field at this point. Like, where are the Rams not better than the Seahawks? I don't know. They're better quarterback, they're better running back, they're better receiver. You want to talk about the offensive line? Maybe Seattle's got them in the offensive line. I could hear that. The Rams are better tight end. They have a better pass rush. You just added Myles Garrett. They're better at corner. Just better. They're better all over the place. And and it's not like the Rams don't have a good coach. The Rams have an excellent coach, maybe the best coach. So, look, the argument against the Rams is Stafford is almost 40 years old. The offensive line is probably the one spot that you look at and go, that could be a recipe for disaster in a playoff game. That is somebody's in. That is the way that in January the Rams lose, because some team comes in there, which they don't have any home field advantage. So any team that goes in there might have home field advantage over the Rams, noise-wise. And a team goes in there like the Eagles and just says, we can put Stafford on his ass a dozen times. That's how we're going to win the game. That's what we're going to do. The other answer is that receiver room is ultra thin behind Nakua and Adams is no young pup, and Nakua has had a very, let's call it, challenging offseason. Okay? If Nakua gets hurt or Adams gets hurt or becomes ineffective, all of a sudden they become a lot easier to defend. So I don't think there's some guaranteed team.
They're not inevitable. They're not inevitable. They're
not. Like, I lived through some of those Patriots teams where you looked at them and just went, good luck, man. I mean, I don't know. Even some of the recent Chiefs teams where you looked at them and just said, if that team's healthy, they're winning 15 games going to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't feel like that about the Rams, but I do think they're the deserved clear favorite going into the season.
In the last 90 seconds of this segment, we're holding you over for one more. Does that division get 3 playoff teams?
It should, but my guess is no, because they haven't going to beat each other up. And speaking of being beat up, the Niners are already at a point where they have about 3,000 injuries, which is kind of what they do. They just have injuries every year, whether it's a substation or not. I don't know. They're just hurt constantly. the whole team's hurt. McCaffrey isn't practicing. Evans has already been beat up. He was beat up last year. He's in his 30s. Kittle's coming off the Achilles. He's hurt all the time. Like, Bosa's hurt. I can see a world where the Niners are really talented but go like 7-10 because they're just constantly hurt. So I'll say 2 teams, but in a perfect world where everybody's healthy and everything else, yeah, I mean, they should get 3, but I'll say they get 2.
All right. In the last 20 seconds, how many weeks before Carson Beck is starting in Arizona?
God. I mean, that's a question I haven't been asked yet. 8?
All right. We'll set the over-under at 7.5.
They'll play him because why not? But I got to tell you, if your answer to this season is like, hey, Carson Beck, it's probably not going to go well.
All right. We got more to do with our friend Matt Verderame. Does a great job over at SI, the Matt Verderame Show on Patreon. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to do. I've always found when a guest says, well, there's a question nobody's asked me, it means they hated the question. And I think Matt Verderame just gave me one of those.
I actually enjoyed it in the sense, like, I feel like whenever I go on the radio or TV, I get asked the same dozen questions about the season. And I appreciate that you were thinking about Arizona Cardinals fans. And
we're on in Phoenix, man. They love us down there in Phoenix. Arizona Family Sports.
I appreciate a question that's not just like, so, who's under the most pressure this year? Like, which is fine. It's a fair question, but it's a question I get every day.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all know the answer to that. It's Sean McVay, of course. But are you going to give me somebody else? You can be Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas because of all the upgrades they made on the defensive side of the ball. Now you just ask the question. I will make you answer it.
I mean, my answer is always the same thing. I think it's either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I think it's, and I've said that answer for 3 years now. I mean, it's, hey, man, you going to win anything? Like, we live in this weird world that our brethren in the media love to just turn Josh Allen into the greatest quarterback that's ever played the sport. He's not. He's a great player. He's currently Warren Moon or Dan Fouts.
I was going to say, is he this generation's version of Dan Marino, I would have said.
No, to me, he's not. Like, Dan Marino threw for 5,000 yards in 1984. He had 48 touchdowns. Dan Marino put up numbers we'd never seen before. Josh Allen hasn't done that. Josh Allen is not the great statistical quarterback of this year. It's Mahomes. And Mahomes also has won nonstop, which Allen has done none of. Like, Allen's a great player. He's won nothing. Forget even a Super Bowl. He's never gotten a Super Bowl. He's got the 2 AFC title games. Everybody talks about Lamar Jackson being a big choker. Lamar Jackson's gone to 1. So Allen's gone to 1 more than him. Allen is now on his second head coach, as is Lamar. Allen has been surrounded by some pretty damn good players throughout the course of his career. Number 1 defenses, all-pro receivers, good tight end rooms, great offensive lines, a rushing champion. You ever going to win? You're going to do, I mean, because otherwise, to me, you are the Warren Moon, the Sonny Jurgensen, who, listen, those guys are in the Hall of Fame. They're great players. But I got to tell you, if you and I sat down in a conversation with the greatest quarterbacks of all time, it'd take a long damn time to get to Sonny Jurgensen. You know what I mean? Like, it just would. It wouldn't take a while to get to Brady. It wouldn't take a while to get to Montana or Mahomes. It would take a long time to get to the Sonny Jurgensens of the world, the Bob Waterfields of the world. That's where Josh Allen's sitting. So if you don't win something, like, is that ever going to change?
Are you buying into the hype on the Cowboys? Because I am, given what they've done defensively to this team. If you believe, that Dak Prescott could put together back-to-back good seasons and not have one season where he's hurt, one season where he's ineffective, one season where he's great, and then, sort of revolve those around, are you buying into Dallas, and to what level are you buying in on Dallas?
I am buying into Dallas, which scares the hell out of me. Because
I am too, though.
Look, the Cowboys' offense might be the best offense in the NFL. There's not a weak spot. They're really good to great everywhere. Defensively, you add a couple of first-round picks. I loved Caleb Downs coming out, so I'm super high on him. You get Rashawn Gary in the building. Now you lose Digazua, who you traded to the Niners, which is good for the Niners because he might be the last man standing at the rate that thing's going. They bring in Christian Parker to replace Eberflus at DC. Mm-hmm. And that division's not that good. Like, I think the Giants are improved, but, listen, I think it probably takes a couple years for them where they really want to be. Tunzel getting hurt for the Commanders is a killer. And I like the Eagles in a sense. I know what I'm getting infrastructure-wise with them. I also think the Eagles at this point are like maybe a 10-win team. Like, I don't love that team as much as I did. I like them. So I am buying the Cowboys. I think they're going to win the division. I think this ceiling's probably somewhere they haven't been in 30 years, which is the NFC title game. I still have a hard time, even with the improvements defensively, thinking that team's going to win 3 playoff games in a row. It's kind of how I feel about the Bengals. It's like, are the Bengals really going to run the table with that defense in the AFC? Like, probably not. But I think Dallas could win a playoff game or 2, which is something I haven't felt about the Cowboys in a long time.
How much is the league cringing when it sees Jaxson Dart criticizing the blue tent?
Cringing. Look, if that was one of the big time quarterbacks in the league, probably more so. I will say this: it's got to be one of the least aware things a human being's ever said at an NFL podium, right? Like, this is the 6th time he's been a 10 being evaluated for a concussion, and he's standing up there essentially saying, "I just don't understand what the problem is." It's like, well, Jackson, the problem's you, buddy. Like, you can't stop getting just crushed. Now, to be fair on this one, this wasn't his fault. They just didn't block somebody. Yeah. Just cream.
Yeah, Tracy.
But, yeah. I mean, Tracy's got to slide over and he gets just destroyed. I mean, that's not on Jaxson Dart. But Jaxson Dart's saying something that you're looking at him in the moment thinking, like, are you, like, fully coherent to say that? Like, what? That was a little bit of sad irony there. But, yeah, look, I think it's something that, whether he likes it or not, he's going to be in that tent a decent amount if he keeps playing the way he's playing. I mean, if he continues to play with reckless abandon, he is going to be evaluated. This isn't the 90s where some guy would just get absolutely unloaded on and then be like, yeah, it's okay. Like, they're going to check you.
On the Baker Mayfield front in Tampa, how sort of acrimonious has this become, and how much does it threaten to sort of bleed into the season and what that team hopes to accomplish?
Yeah, I saw them a week ago, and listen, I mean, it's kind of hard to judge the acrimony at a practice or anything else, but I mean, my understanding of it is, listen, I mean, he's pissed, which, okay, I mean, he has, I guess, a right to be pissed. I don't know why he's that pissed off, though, quite honestly. They gave him a contract and nobody else would a few years ago. He stunk last year. They went 8-9. And they went 3-8 in their last 11 games, and he threw 14 touchdowns and 10 picks over that stretch. He was horrendous. Like, they fell apart. He fell apart. He's 32 years old. I mean, they didn't win the NFC South last year. You know how hard that is to not win that division? And they managed not to do it. It could bleed into the season. And listen, they lost Evans. Ibuka's already hurt. He's dealing with the toe injury. I think that if he doesn't have a good year, he's gone. And frankly, if I'm the Bucs, I don't blame Jason. I think they did the smart thing not signing him, because if he does play well, okay, you can tag him and then either just leave him on a tag or sign him. And if he doesn't play well, then you can move on and go into this generational quarterback class, go get somebody. Because if he doesn't play well and you extended him, now you're screwed.
Right.
Now you can't go get one of these quarterbacks. You still have him. The team's falling apart. I think the Buccaneers, quite honestly, are one of these teams. They need a youth movement in the worst way. Not in Pittsburgh. Two of them.
Matt Verderame, SI, also the Matt Verderame Show on Patreon. Couple more questions for him on YouTube. We're coming back. Welcome back to the show. Let's continue the conversation. Move to some baseball. Sam Yarnell hangs out with us on the show most days. Sports Wrap running the bases. Just because they've been so bad all year, let's start with the Mets. They've been so bad. But now they've won 10 of 13. And they're only 10 back of the third wild card. Listen, they go on a Red Sox-like run. You never know. They certainly play him more loose. A.J. Ewing and Carson Beck last night doing something you never see. And in the case of Benj back-to-back plays where he's throwing out guys at the plate. By the way, I don't know who the third base coach is for the Padres, but, I mean, really? I mean, you're actually in a playoff hunt. You're trying to make the postseason here, and you got guys getting thrown out left and right and all over the place, Sam. On a day the Padres officially were sold, not selling out last night, getting beat by the Mets, who have won 10 of 13 and 4 straight after, by the way, sweeping your Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I'll get to the Mets in a second. Well, I guess you can't fault the Padres. I mean, Carson Beck made 2 inhumane throws. That was truly some of the most incredible outfield throws that you will see on a baseball diamond, not only this year, but that I can remember, right? Like, this takes you back to the Yoenis Cespedes days when he used to launch just absolute nukes from the outfield. Kid's got a special arm and right. If he can figure out the offense, then he's going to be a guy who the defense can keep him in the major leagues for a very long time, which is good for the Mets. What's bad for the Mets is exactly what you said, is them winning games. I don't know what has gotten in to the people in Queens right now. Like, they're Metsing up how much they Metsed up this season already. Like you said, they could go on a Red Sox run for the rest of the season, but that wouldn't put them in a playoff position. This isn't the American League. That would put them maybe 4th in the division instead of dead last. You look at the third wild card spot in the National League, and it's a team that's 8 games over 500. The Mets are 12 games under 500. The math doesn't math there. They're going to be mathematically eliminated by the time September 1st rolls around. Now the Mets are winning games and ruining their draft position. This is horrible. You are the New York Mets under the new guise of the MLB draft and the new guidelines for what the previous CBA set out to how to restrict these big market teams. It is hard, and it is not common that you will see a big market team with a top 5 pick in the Mets until the last 2 weeks had set themselves on the perfect track for that. Again, it's nearly impossible in the modern Major League Baseball draft. So they're Metsing up as much as they Metsed up this season already. It doesn't get any more Metsy than the people in New York right now. Oh my gosh, it's tough to watch, Jason. It's tough to watch from an organizational standpoint. Stearns is gone after this season, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, Andy Green may not be. And that might be part of what's going on here, is Andy Green potentially remaining the manager of this team if management and ownership sees that they're playing for this guy and playing hard for this guy. Andy Green may wind up being the long-term solution there.
Of the 3 major managerial firings that we think about, that we talked about, the ones that mattered this year for all the teams that blew up, the Red Sox, the Phillies, and the Mets, Andy Green is the 3rd most likely out of those 3 to be the interim head coach or the interim manager that was put into place to be retained. And my guess is there's only one of those guys, based on the reporting that we've seen come out at this point, there's only one of those guys that's going to get retained, and it's Chad Tracy, right? The Phillies basically said last weekend, we're going to hire Alex Cora in this offseason, even if Don Mattingly makes it to the World Series. Andy Green is just not a needle mover. It's the New York Mets. You just learned this lesson with Carlos Mendoza. You need to go out and get somebody that matters.
Well, who are you getting then? Who are you getting? Who's gonna be that guy? No, come on, no. Yeah, Carlos Beltran, who's never managed a team in his life. You're gonna make him the manager of the New York Mets? No.
Wasn't he a bench coach for like multiple years for the Astros?
Being a bench coach is different than running the New York Mets. That's what I'll say about that. Ketel Marte, Sam Yarnell, a weird situation going on in Arizona, and he's had some issues off the field. Now you get the manager there saying, he's going to be, sort of taking a leave from the team in the middle of a wild card race, a bizarre situation down there in Phoenix.
Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Ketel Marte.
I think we all
Clearly
agree.
It's not. I mean, you saw Torey Lovello after the game. He started crying. He started crying when he was something is very clearly wrong here. Something is not right here. This isn't even the first, and I know that there was the trade discussion like in the offseason and then again at the deadline, but like the Ketel Marte thing is a very delicate one. This isn't the first time he's left the Arizona Diamondbacks just randomly. There was a time during the All-Star break, either last season or the season before, where he just ended up in the Dominican Republic. No one in the Diamondbacks organization knew where he was, and all this reporting is just coming out that there was an instance where Ketel Marte was like, hey, what's going on? I'm in the Dominican Republic. I hope everything's okay with him. I'm not sure that it is.
Mental health, obviously a big thing, and we will continue to keep an eye on this story and report on it as needed. We've got ourselves a race for the MVP award in the National League. What nights for Shohei Ohtani and Pete Crow Armstrong here in the final 30 seconds, Sam. Both of them hitting 2 home runs. In the case of Pete Crow Armstrong, the first Cub ever to go back-to-back 30-30 seasons as the Cubs beat the White Sox. Ohtani homering against the hapless Rockies. Who winds up winning the MVP, Sam?
It's fun that they're manufacturing this storyline. It's going to be Ohtani. He's going to pitch again sometime in the next month, and that'll put him over the top. It's going to be Ohtani. It's cute that we can pretend that the guy who plays horrible defense is going to win it, but he's not.
He better pitch well if he gets back on the mound. We're coming back. Welcome back to the show. Odds and Ends wraps it up in 10 minutes. Is it the end for Live Golf? They say no, but certainly some ominous signs. Sam Yarnell, the first AP Top 25 poll coming out. The preseason poll, what sets the tone for the season ahead. Ohio State, 40 of 69 first-place votes. Are they the safest choice? Are they the best choice? You know, they lost a significant amount of defensive talent. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, Reese, McDonald. I mean, they obviously have credibility on the offensive side of the ball, but what did you make of the first top 25 poll of the year, Sam Yarnell?
Absolutely nothing. Jason, let me take you back. A smooth 365 days ago.
Sure.
When they released the preseason poll for last year, 2025, remember who the top 2 teams were? You remember?
Tell me.
Texas and Penn State. A team that I don't even think finished in the top 10, and a team that fired their head coach halfway through the season. I mean, my goodness, if last year told you anything, it was that preseason rankings mean nothing. Clemson was number 4. I don't think they finished in the top 25. It's like it's a comedy of errors when you go back at the end of the season and look at the preseason rankings. So I am making absolutely nothing of this. It's college football. We have to wait. Half of these rosters got gutted. The Ohio State had sent half their defense to the NFL. Like, Indiana won the national championship. They're ranked 8th because of how many guys they've got in the league right now. It's just crazy how much is made, and I get it. We're all yearning for football. I'm right there with all of you. I've been talking about it for freaking longer than half of you. But we cannot make too much out of these preseason rankings. It's the middle of freaking August. Nobody knows jack squat about college football right now.
Is this the year finally for Oregon? That's what a lot of people are asking. Because if you look at the poll, there they are. The only team to get, the only team that got double-digit votes for second place in the poll was Oregon. For first place votes, they got 14. Georgia finished 3rd, even though they are 3rd in the rankings, even though they don't have any first place votes. And then Notre Dame gets 6. Indiana still gets 8, ranked 6th. And Miami, who only made it to the national championship game last year, with just 1. When you look at this list, and this is a loaded question, and I know you're going to look at it and say, how do I know? Is there a team further back that could be that sort of surprise. Oh, you got one. That could be sort of that surprise team that isn't getting the love in this poll right now, but might be by the time we get to the end of the season?
All right, so that's a little bit of a different question than I thought you were going to ask, and I will have a team for that, but I just got a team that I think will finish the season ranked higher than where they are ranked right now, Notre Dame. And I know you're going to think to yourself, the hell are you talking about, Sam? They're ranked fourth. Look at that freaking schedule. Tell me they don't go undefeated. And if they do, I bet you dollars to donuts with CJ Carr, the Heisman favorite. That team is the number one overall seed heading into the college football playoff. I think Notre Dame could legitimately, as soon as, if there's an Ohio State loss, if there's an Oregon loss, well, one of them's going to lose. They'll automatically be in that top two, and then the other one will lose some random game, and then that's going to push Notre Dame into that one. Notre Dame's not going to lose a game all season. Look at their freaking schedule. It is a cakewalk. A team that I mean, Jason, this one seems a little too easy in this NIL era, but I'll just go with the team that spends more money on their roster than any other team in college football history. Give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders in there at 12. Listen, that was an insane defense last year. We were talking about a guy on that defense contending for the Heisman Trophy last year. I'll ride with the Red Raiders. They're down there at 13 with as much money as they spend on football and on that roster down there. I'll take a shot on them, say they can somehow back their way into the college football playoff.
Texas and Ohio State, I believe, is week 2 of the season. And, look, for everything we're looking at right now, everything could go topsy-turvy depending on the result of that game. Sam Yarnell, the other question a lot of people are asking, has the balance of power officially shifted from the SEC to the Big Ten?
I mean, I've always been a numbers guy, right, Jason? And it's hard to argue with the numbers that the Big Ten puts up. Listen, I think when people think about like the Americana of college football, when we think about the pomp and circumstance of college football and like what college football means culturally, that's certainly represented by the SEC. Everything around the field of play, I'll put it to you this way, everything outside of the gridiron itself, that's where the SEC wins, right? That is all SEC. That's where the SEC is nearly untouchable. Right now, everything on the gridiron is all Big Ten. And it feels like the SEC, from a purely football perspective, again, not talking about the culture around football, the pomp and circumstance around football, because again, the SEC will take that 6 ways to Sunday. But right now, the football itself, yeah, give me the Big Ten over the SEC. The numbers play it out over the last couple of years, right? Over the college football playoff era.
And by the way, you mentioned Clemson, not even in the top 25 to start the season. Could be a long year at Clemson for the Tigers when you look at this top 25 poll. But then again, who knows? Maybe they surprise, and we're talking about a different story as we get closer to the end of the season. All right, that's the AP top 25 preseason poll. Sam, we will see you later in the week. We are coming back with odds and ends to wrap up this edition of Sports Wrap. All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Tuesday. But before we do, a couple of reminders. Tomorrow on the show, David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, because Sports Wrap's going inside baseball. Talk about some of the top stories with him. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast. The audio version of this very show is available Monday through Friday, wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can listen to this show in crystal clear audio. It works just as well as an audio companion as it does a TV show, as it does on the YouTube channel. Go and subscribe today. We also have the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. This is the place to find all things video associated with this show. You saw Matt Verderame at the beginning of the show, right? Guess what? There's more to that conversation, much more to that conversation, almost 10 minutes more to that conversation. We talked about the Chiefs in that conversation. We got a little bit more into the New York Giants in that conversation, the Broncos as well. All you got to do is subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Again, it's free. We've got great content there. The full-length version of the Monday through Friday TV version of the show, 45 minutes, commercials taken out of it, so you don't even have to deal with that. Go and check it out. Sports Wrap Shorts, Sports Wrap Originals, great content every day on the YouTube channel. The Sports Wrap website is hot. SportsWrap.tv is the place to go for all things associated with this show. The aforementioned podcast, the aforementioned YouTube content, the Sports Wrap Substack, the Daily Wrap. If you haven't done it yet, go and get it. It's a newsletter delivered to you every day, right up there at SportsWrap.tv. You can go and subscribe to the newsletter. We make it nice and easy for you. We've even got a contact section if you want to send us love, send us hate, send us your questions. Just do it at sportswrap.tv. We encourage you to do so today. And without any further delay, on this Tuesday edition of the show, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, and Live Golf just continues to find trouble everywhere it turns. The season-ending tournament, well, not going to happen. Instead, the season-ending tournament will be this week. They were supposed to be in Michigan for their final stop. Instead, this week's tournament, being held outside of Indianapolis, will be the final event of the season. There had been a lot of speculation out there. Mark Schlabach, by the way, has this story over on ESPN. There had been a lot of speculation that the August 27th event would be postponed, canceled, financial costs. You got Scott O'Neill, who used to work with the 76ers, who is now the head of Live Golf. Scott O'Neill is out there basically saying, hey, we've got funding for next year. We're good. It's going to be an equity stake for the players, the golfers that are involved with Live Golf. They're good for next year, but they're not so good for this year, which seems kind of crazy to me. Because if the Saudi PIF funded this thing through this year, they said they were pulling the funding. Didn't they have enough funding to get through this year? Is this thing being mismanaged? Is, whoever's pulling the purse strings putting a little in their pocket on the sides? I don't know. But it doesn't add up to me that Live Golf doesn't even have enough to operate its schedule for this year. That would be very discouraging for me if I'm one of the golfers there thinking, oh yeah, they've got our future set. They've got this whole thing laid out. Everything's going to be just fine. Good luck to the golfers there who are trying to hold that thing together. The John Rahms of the world, the Bryson DeChambos of the world. Good luck to you. Odds and ends, Bill Rasmussen has passed away at the age of 93. The visionary who helped launch, along with his son Scott, ESPN back in 1979 in the town of Bristol, Connecticut, passed away at the age of 93 from the effects of Parkinson's disease. And again, back in 1979, the idea of a 24-hour all-sports network was probably insane. People probably thought it was nuts. And all these years later, we obviously know what ESPN is, what it has become, what it has meant to the state of Connecticut. For our friends watching in Connecticut, you know the impact of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen, also one-time communications director over at the New England Whalers before they became the Hartford Whalers of the NHL, has passed away at the age of 93. Rest in peace. Oswaldo Perella, you may not know who he is. He's a minor league instructor, minor league coordinator for the San Diego Padres, who, by the way, were recently sold. Oswaldo Perella has been detained by ICE officials at an airport in El Paso. And this is one of those stories where real life and the sports world sort of clash and come together. He's 34 years old, from Venezuela. He was not carrying his work permit card at the time. DHS put out a statement saying he entered the country legally in 2014, but that legal status expired in 2018, and he didn't have any documentation saying he could be in the country. How did they know to pick him out? Figure that out yourself. Their AAA affiliate was playing in El Paso and he was headed back home. He's got kids. Another one of those stories that sort of leaves you scratching your head. They say they're getting the bad guys out. I didn't think the Padres minor league hitting instructor was that. Thanks to Matt Verderame and Sam Yarnell, I'm Jason Page. We'll catch you back here for more Sports Wrap on Wednesday. Bye-bye.